Good afternoon, YouTube. I'm OggyF, Rage is parked somewhere outside, and this is part 2 of my Q&A session. Welcome to my channel. Let's get started. The first question is from Kanab Pandit, and he says, I'm 6 foot 2 inches tall. Should I go for this bike? I think you're referring to the RC390, and I think you should. It might be a little small for you, but I think over time you'd be able to adjust with it. It's the shorter riders that would really have a problem with the RC390. I think you'd be fine on it. Okay, Napper asks, why so inactive, sir? Napper, check out Motovlog for a cause. That's why I've not been active over here. Second channel, Motovlog for a cause. Okay, Rahul Bunny says, I want to challenge with you. I hope that's not something weird. Because if that's something weird, then I wouldn't want to be part of that, Rahul. Oh, he meant challenge. Okay, challenge me to what? Abhishek Singh asked, have you ever been fined by a cop? Answer is yes. The incident happened 2 years ago. We were at an intersection and the light was green for us. I started moving and there were these people who jumped the signal from the other side, and I ended up being stuck in the middle. Now, there was a traffic cop who never really realized that I got stuck in the middle because of that. I tried to explain I didn't have my camera, and he fined me for breaking the signal. Imagine that, huh? Himanshu Nanda asks, are you planning on making any mods to Rage, your RC390, or are you planning on keeping it all stock? Truth be told, I prefer the motorcycle to be stock because obviously it's made with certain specifications kept in mind and certain performance details kept in mind. To be able to make changes to a motorcycle, there's a lot of tuning which you need to do as well to make sure that it performs well and is reliable at the same time. So I wouldn't want to mess around with that as of now. As I get more familiar with the motorcycle and as I get the resources to be able to make the changes that I want, that's when I probably start looking at making modifications to my RC390. Mihir Patel says, hi OggyF, I am your subscriber from Ahmedabad. I like your videos. Before your videos, I care my bike KTM RC390 and Bajaj V, and always do ride with helmets. Thanks for making awesome videos. We like you on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and follow on Instagram and Twitter as well, and make this type more videos we have with you. Well, firstly, thank you for following me on pretty much all the social media I'm on. And it's really nice to know that you guys wear your helmets whenever you go out. Nice choice in motorcycles, by the way. Bajaj V, that's a Vikrant, I think, that whole edition, and the KTM RC390 as well. Pretty neat. Thank you, Mihir. Andrew Narona and pretty much everyone else in the comment section has said, can you tell us about a ghost story or the scariest ghost story you've ever experienced? So I'm going to answer that in the form of another video altogether. We did experience something when traveling to Goa. Fortunately, my camera was on at the time, but nothing got captured on the recording. So I will upload that video and probably narrate what exactly I saw and maybe add a few effects and morph that image of a ghost or something inside that. But I'll make a separate video on that, and hopefully you guys would like that and get scared and not get sleep. Okay, Varun Khare asks, hey Oggy, which tank bag do you use and how helpful is it? Can the bag be used for daily commute? I use a Viaterra Fly non-magnetic, so it's connected to the trellis frame and the handlebars of my motorcycle with straps, and I pretty much use it every day. So I carry a laptop and a few other things like my phone, my wallet to work every day and back, and I use it on my weekend rides as well. So I'd say it's pretty useful for both your daily commute and a weekend ride also. Tank bags are the way to go. Why would you want to carry anything on your back, right? It just wears you down, right? Okay, Asif Sheikh says, Hi there, I reckon you stay in Bandra Reclamation. Not really, no. You are doing a fab job making people aware of the Indian driving standards and also doing your bit to bring it up. Thank you. Appreciate your priority to safety and riding etiquette. Looking forward for more of your vlogs and videos. Keep it up. Thank you, Asif. That really means a lot. Thank you. Sahil Kadam said, tell me something about your new camera, the DJI Osmo. Well, the DJI Osmo is fantastic. It records in 4K and pretty much every other resolution below that. The main reason for me buying it is because of the stability system which it has. So it's a 3-axis gimbal, which kind of gives you stable footage no matter where you point it or move it around. And if you watched a video of our ride to Nagpur, which is on my second channel, then you'll see it in use quite a lot over there. I haven't really used it a lot on the first channel, but on the second channel, it's been used a lot. Do check it out. Yash Chaudhary says, I'm 19 years old. Which bike is good for me? The Royal Enfield Thunderbird, the KTM Duke, or the Honda CBR? I'm not a cruiser guy and I don't like naked bikes, so I'll say Honda CBR, but that's just me being me. If you really want to understand what bike is good for you, I always recommend go ahead and take a test ride of it and see which one you are most happy with and which one you can live with. As simple as that. Ishu Rao asks the same old question, which is a serious one though, but it's the same old question. Can the RC really do the everyday? And basically what he's asking is, should he go for the Duke 390 or the RC 390? Again, like I've said I think in my previous vlog as well, the RC 390 is not everyone's cup of tea, and by that I don't mean that people who ride it are exceptional riders. No, I think you need to be a little more vigilant in how frequently you service it, both at the service center and by yourself. I pretty much look at the chain slack, the oil levels, and the coolant level every weekend. So there's a lot of care involved in it. Again, that being said, the riding position on the RC390 isn't the most comfortable for someone who's previously owned maybe something like a Splendor or a FZ or a R15 even for that matter. So there's a lot of adjustments you need to make to the riding position as well. If you're asking me purely between the Duke 390 and the RC 390, as an everyday commuter, I think the Duke 390 would be more suitable. But if you're talking to someone like me who's a sucker for fared motorcycles, then I'd pick the RC 390 every single day of the week, twice on Sunday. Alright, Shri Narvekar, I hope I got that right. Can you mention the gear and accessories you use? Well, let's start off from the top. My helmet is an Icon airframe, and it's not the Icon airframe Manic, though I've got that graphic kind of put onto the helmet. My riding jacket is an Alpine Stars TGP R Air. The gloves I use are Planet DSG Reaper. The riding pants which I use are AGV Sport, Solar or Solare. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's Italian and they have an E at the end, so Solare, I guess. I don't know. And what else? The boots I use are Alpine Stars SMX 1.1s. That's it. That's the entire gear I use. Next question is from Jason Rides. He asks, can you share about your bike service costs, true mileage, and maybe is it suitable for a college student to maintain it? Well, Jason. See, that's a tough question because there's a little more information that I would require to answer that. Are you working and studying at the same time, or are you just purely studying? Is there someone else in your family who's helping you out with your finances, and so on and so forth? So there's a lot of combinations that go into that. But that being said, KTMs in general aren't really the most expensive motorcycles to maintain. Obviously, because they have parts manufactured in India itself, it's one of the cheaper bikes, one of the cheaper performance bikes at least, to maintain. So in that sense, it's reasonable. But if you're not working and you're relying on your parents, depending on how well off your parents are, you'd want to make that decision yourself. What I would recommend though is for you to check out the XBHP ownership thread for the RC390. There's people who share a lot of images of their receipts which they get from the KTM showroom, share a lot of experiences they've had at different service centers and so on and so forth. So you can check that out and make that decision yourself. Ritvik Ray asks, hey, which helmet is more comfortable, LS2 or MT, under 5,000 rupees? Well, that's really a matter of preference. My twin brother's got an MT Blade and he loves it. I've never tried it on myself, but again, like I said, it's a matter of personal preference. So why don't you try both of them out and see which one you like? Vishwamitra Mun or Man. Man, I know. Asks, is KTM RC390 safe for long rides, or is the Duke 390 safe for long rides? And where can I get a cheaper GoPro under 15k? Well, it's the rider that makes them safe. So you decide. You can maybe take an H2R, of course it's not legal, but you can maybe take an H2R on the street and still be safe. And you can probably take a moped and crash somewhere. So it's completely dependent on the rider. Where can you get a cheaper GoPro? Well, I think the Hero, which is the entry level GoPro, was somewhere around 12 or 13 grand, I'm not sure. But I think that would be the more affordable of GoPros. Otherwise, you can always check out eBay to find people who are selling second-hand GoPros. Ghost Rider asks how to grip the RC tank properly. The answer is with your thighs. Hug the tank with your thighs as far as possible. And what could also help you make the ride more comfortable is if you add traction kits, I believe they're called, or traction pads to the tank of the RC390. You get various brands that manufacture it, like Stomp Grips and so on and so forth. But if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, AliExpress. Bryce K Games asks, do you know Yummy R6? Who the hell doesn't know Yummy R6, man? Come on. Okay, Tejas Chavan says, hello OggyF, you are my favorite motor vlogger, thank you. Crazy fan of yours. I would like if you will manage to get your hands on the new 2016 RC390 and also note the key differences between the two models, old and new. I'm planning to buy one at the end of this year. Need your suggestions and will love to join your group of fellow riders when I have my own bike. Thanks, bro. Ride safe. Tejas, if I can get my hands on the new 2016 RC390, I will definitely try and note down the comparable differences between the two. As for your plan on buying it at the end of this year, I think irrespective of what my views are, if you have had a chance to ride the RC390 and you are happy with it, the 2016 is a bit more comfortable. They've changed the seat to some extent, and I think it's a little more rider friendly in terms of the slipper clutch and the daytime running lights being permanently on. So I think in that sense it's a nice motorcycle. Either way, they're pretty much the same, but you won't be disappointed if you're already happy with the 2015 model. Okay, Bullet Diaries. Hey, Bullet Diaries. Yeah, I remember you. He asks, what inspires you to keep moving forward every single day to vlog or to make videos? Thanks in advance. Well, to be honest, what keeps me going is I watch a lot of other YouTubers and motor vloggers as well, not just from India but globally as well. And I think watching their content and learning from them kind of keeps me going and keeps me motivated. And apart from that, I think, as cliche as it may sound, every day when I get home and sit at my computer and read through the different messages I receive, I think that gives me a little more encouragement as well to keep doing what I'm doing. So yeah, thank you all for that encouragement. Okay, Rahil Mistry asks, I'm planning to pick up a riding jacket. Good on you. Which one do you suggest? So a lot of people ask me this question about riding jackets, and I always recommend, if you're on a budget, that you go for something like a Rhinox jacket, purely because they come with Nox armor built into them. And for those of you who know what Nox armor is, you know what kind of quality they put into their product. So yeah, Rhinox jackets. I think the GT Air is the one I recommend the most because it's suitable for our climate here in Mumbai and in India in general. Vikram Singh Soda asks, are you interested in cars? What's your dream or favorite car? I think as a child I liked cars more than motorcycles, but then as I grew up I think I started to like motorcycles more. But dream car, dream car. I think one of the first cars that I was gifted, and I'm talking about toy cars here, not real cars, of course, was a Ferrari Testarossa, I think it was called. And that thing was insane. So I like the Ferrari. I like Ferraris in general. Okay, one from a motor vlogger now. Bengaluru Rider. He says, why do you wear funky shoes during review videos? Life's too boring, I think, in just black and white. I think I like to add some color to the videos, and if the RC390 isn't colorful enough, then I think I should add my shoes to that whole equation as well. Okay, Suya Sharma asks, when will you do your face reveal and why have you not done it yet? Funny, right, that you ask that during this Q&A vlog. To be honest with you, what started to happen is, although I wanted to keep my identity a secret, there were some people out there who were kind of hell bent on giving out information about who I am, and I realized it started to get to a stage where I might have probably been kidding myself that I had my identity kept secret. So rather than letting some kind of hater or whatever you want to call them go out there and give out my identity, I decided to do it myself. And I started the second channel because of that. So if people wanted to see who I am and know who I was, then they could have pretty much just gone to the second channel, seen my face over there if that's what they wanted, and that second channel's revenue, for those of you who don't know, goes towards a charity. So you get to see my face and you also get to donate. So the channel gains, the charity gains, everyone gains. I personally never wanted to give out my identity, but it was something that I couldn't avoid. So I made the most of it and made sure that someone else gained from it as well. Okay, Sid Punk asks, what are the traffic rules you don't mind breaking? Very interesting question. There is one, in fact. That whole thing about ISI helmets. And again, no disrespect to any Indian helmet manufacturer, but I've seen ISI stickers on some of the worst helmets around. I'd rather be wearing a non-ISI approved helmet, and I'm not saying some helmet which is risky. I'm talking about DOT, EC, and SNEL, and any other kind of rating as well given to it. But I'd rather not stick to just purely an ISI helmet because they're not always the safest helmets out there. DOT, SNEL, ECE, these are the kind of ratings you should be looking out for. Kamalendu Banerjee asks, what is that bag with a pipe in the tank? Oh, I think you're talking about my backpack, which has that kind of a straw or a pipe coming through. That's called a hydration backpack. The one I've got is a B-twin hydration backpack. So you can store water in that. There's a bladder which you can store water in. I think that accommodates about 2 liters. And yeah, it keeps you well hydrated during the ride. Saves you the trouble of having to stop every now and then and buy water and sip on it. You can just continue riding and just pull the straw out and sip on it and continue on your journey. Murtaza Golwala asks, hello there, I'm a big fan of yours. Thank you, Murtaza. My question is, please tell me your review about the Royal Enfield Himalayan. I really love the bike. I'm going to get it on my 18th birthday. Well, very nice. But I wanted to ask you your views about the bike. Well, Murtaza, honestly, I've not really got a chance to ride the bike as much as I would have liked to before I gave a review about it. I am planning on taking the Himalayan for a longer ride later this year, hopefully, if my brother allows, and I would be able to give you a more comprehensive review after that. For now, I'd still say go for it because it's a very comfortable ride. It's still got power. People say that it's underpowered. It's still got a bit of power. And I think around the city, especially a city like Mumbai, which has horrible roads, I think you'll be very happy buying a Royal Enfield Himalayan or any adventure tourer for that matter. Cherin Amal asks, what according to you should be done to traffic violators and dumbasses who don't give a bleep about safety? Honestly, I think fining them isn't the best way forward because, yeah, we've banned a few notes now as well because of the kind of black money we have in our country. I think the best way forward is to impose a penalty point system where if you break enough laws and have enough violations to your name, you eventually would be either not allowed to drive or ride or have your license suspended for a certain amount of time. I think that's the best thing to do. It keeps them out of trouble, it keeps us out of trouble as well with them off the roads. Okay, Rudradev Thakur asks, bro, should I go for the Continental GT? And if yes, can you mention the service charges too? I personally am not a big fan of the Continental GT purely because of its handling, but again, that's just me. Service charges, I'm not really sure. I don't have friends who own the Continental GT, but again, you can check the XBHP forums and they'll probably be the best place to find that information. Okay, next question is from the Bombay Hooligan. He asks quite a few questions. So the first one says, as a YouTuber, what gives you inspiration and idea for content of a video? Believe it or not, I look in the comment section to find out what's the most frequently asked question, and I try and build content of that. Apart from that, I've got series which have been doing pretty well, like the Bad Mumbai Driver series and touring and other review vlogs as well. so that keeps my content flowing, I guess. As a biker, where would you rather ride? Your favorite track or the Isle of Man? The Isle of Man, easily. The Isle of Man. As a MotoGP fan, who do you support? Valentino Rossi. I know I might get hated in the comments for this, but I think Valentino Rossi has been around for longer, and just purely because of what he was able to achieve through MotoGP is what I respect him for, and I support him. And I don't hate anyone else as well, but I support Valentino Rossi. Mr. MJ asks, did you ever meet with an accident on your KTM? Fortunately, not. I've never crashed. I did fall on my R15. Again, not my fault, but I've not crashed on the RC390, no. Conan Almeida asks, in terms of handling, which bike would you recommend, the Yamaha R15 or the KTM RC200? If you asked me this a few years ago, I would have said the R15 hands down. But since the RC390 and the RC200 have pretty much the same setup, I think the RC200 is slightly better than the R15. Okay, Aniket28 asks, how many kilometers have you covered on your RC390? As of today, I've completed 21,542 kilometers. Amod Malvankar asks, as we have never seen your face, okay, how to spot OggyF if we see someone on a KTM RC390? Well, I'm really not sure how you do that, because there's a lot of people who have a KTM RC390, a lot of people who have orange handle grips as well on their KTM RC390. There's another dude who looks like me, who's my twin, and I think there's a lot of other people who have the same helmet as I do. Amod, I don't know how you're going to spot me, man. Prashant Agarwal says, hey Oggy, how are you doing? I'm doing good. My question is, according to you, at what time intervals or kilometers should a motorcycle get serviced? Read the owner's manual. That'll tell you everything you need to know. And if you haven't got one along with the bike when you received it, it'll be available online. Check. Okay, Faisal Fahad asks, hey OggyF, my question is, who is your current favorite YouTuber? Current favorite YouTuber? Baron Von Grumble. Check him out. Neil Odedra asks, Oggy bro, I have watched all vids of yours. How many times have you been caught by cops while vlogging? Quite a few times actually, and I've only maybe uploaded my interactions with them a couple of times, but I do get stopped quite frequently by police asking me what's that light blinking on your helmet, and when I share that it's a camera, then they're very cooperative. I don't know why. They're very cooperative. Okay, Racer99 says, I have 3 questions. 1. Do you get back pain after a long ride on Rage? No, I do not. I think I shared this in the last video as well, that the only pain I experience is in my knees, and that's again because of the position of the foot pegs on the RC390. Have you got any battery problem till now? Fortunately, no, I have not. Knock on wood. I own a Duke 200. Which tire to get, Metzeler or Michelin? Well, that depends. If you've got the budget and you want the best performance out of your motorcycle, then Metzelers is the way to go. But if you are looking at a more cost-effective option, which can last longer, then the Michelins would be better. Never go for the Michelin Pilot Sporty though. I put that on my R15 and I regretted it. Never touch that. Not with a mile long stick as well. Don't even touch that. Run away from the guy who's trying to sell it to you. Okay, Gautam asks, what do you work? Are you single? And why are you not regular? What do I work? I work in vendor management for a food and nutrition company. Am I single? As of today, Gautam, the 10th of November 2016, I am single. And why are you not regular? Well, work, football, motorcycles, family, it all keeps me busy. So I'd rather be riding than sitting at home and editing, and that's probably why I maybe haven't been very regular with my uploads. Okay, so final question is from Francis, and he says, at what age did you first start riding? I first started riding when I was 22 years old. Which was the first bike you rode? The first bike I ever rode was a friend's Bajaj Pulsar 180. And the first bike I owned, I don't think most of you know this, was a Yamaha FZS. It was a silver and red edition. Alright, so that's pretty much all I had for today's vlog and this Q&A session. I will be doing more of these in the future, and I'll try and be a little more consistent with the uploads of these videos as well. If you liked my answers to your questions, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. It's always appreciated. And do share the video as well. As always, at least wear your helmets while riding your motorcycles and ride safe. It's a freaking jungle out there. Goodbye.